Welcome, everybody, to the Stockbridge Cemetery Commission meeting. Today is July 25th, and we're getting going a little bit late. It looks like it's about 10:07. Welcome, our guest in Zoom land.
I'm Tamara Jasper.
Tamara, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you. I am a part-time resident of Stockbridge. I live in Beechwood.
Excellent. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Tara.
Okay. I was thinking.
Do you not prefer me to mute it?
That's fine.
Okay.
You can mute yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's do the things that require Terry first. And then,
Yes.
Okay, that sounds good. Good. Okay.
So I would like to see if we can approve the minutes from April 11th and from May 23rd.
I second.
Any discussion?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Okay, so we're able to approve the minutes. Yay. And I think that's all we needed you for.
Okay.
So nothing else we're voting on.
That would be,
Well, the revisions to the definitions and policy, or do you want to wait on that? That's fine with me.
Or you can move it up in the agenda and we can do it now and then she can vote and then.
well, okay, so we will move the revisions to definitions and policies document on monuments, markers, plants, and decorations to item number 2 in the agenda so that we can have a discussion and feedback and possibly vote on these. And the idea behind these definitions and so forth are to, once, assuming the new bylaws are approved that we talked about at the town meeting and were approved by the town meeting, assuming the state approves the new bylaws, we imagine that these definitions would also go up on the website as guidance for how we will manage the markers and the plants and the burials that occur. So it's the kinds of things that the commission could have changed during the year and not require a town meeting vote to change, but we can change these as needed during the year. And so this is a draft, and I don't know, would we like to have any discussion about any of this? Yes.
Under the natural and conventional burials on page 6 of 7, under definitions, I know back on the diagram you mentioned the cremation,
Yes.
but there's nothing in the definitions under like conventional burial that mentions cremation. I think that should be added.
Okay, I think that's a good point.
Because it talks about caskets, but it doesn't talk about cremation.
Okay.
I think that should, yeah, that would be.
That starts to get into the, we're starting to blur the lines between
Yes, right.
what's in the bylaws and then what we have here. And I realized that, initially I put the cremated remains on the diagram here because we want to show potentially where they can also go, as well as a body in a casket. And we're not showing all the hundreds of different options that could occur, right? This is an example of how a marker could be placed on a 4x10 grave or two side-by-side 4x10s. So, I did not give an outline of a casket, for example. So what you're seeing here is an outline of where cremated remains could go. But yes, we could.
I want to be mummified.
Set up here somewhere, like in the corner.
Yeah, with one of those, like, instead of a mushroom suit, I want, like the mushroom, kind of.
Do you want a wonderful face mask like King Tut?
I think it's old as tacky these days.
It's coming back.
Yeah. And in fact, so there's a bill being discussed at the state legislature related to what's called alkaline hydrolysis and natural organic reduction. And alkaline hydrolysis is a form of cremation that's done more with a water-based solution rather than flame. And you end up with a similar result like cremated remains that have been done by flame. And it's theoretically a little bit greener option because it doesn't take 90 minutes of intense heat and fossil fuels to create this result. And the natural organic reduction is a more controversial, shall I say. It's a way of putting a human body in a vessel, composting it over the course of 30 to 45 days with alfalfa and straw, and it gets turned, the body gets turned, and the end result is about a small truckload full of compost. And
Oh, my word.
that,
I think, is it Oregon or Washington?
Yes.
It's Oregon, right?
Yes.
It's being done there. There's a couple of sites there. I read about it.
Oh, my goodness.
And what do they call it again?
NOR, natural organic reduction. It used to be called Recompose, right? That's the name of the company that's created it. And it has become legal in New York State. And my understanding is Massachusetts is basing their proposed law on what New York is doing. And the way that's set up right now is only cemeteries are allowed to have these facilities. Just like with cremation right now. That's also true with flame cremation. Crematories are only allowed within cemeteries. I think the closest crematory here in the Berkshires is in Pittsfield.
I think you're right.
So if there is a cemetery around that wants to create one of these natural organic reduction things, it's possible, but
As long as Frankenstein's assistant isn't around, you know.
yeah, well, you don't need that for
We don't
that
need
to
a
happen.
body stuffs, yeah.
No more body snatching. Yeah, so anyways, those are two things potentially coming down the pike, as they say.
And what does that look like? You know, there's a lot of bills. Does it seem like it's supported?
This is its second session being under discussion. Honestly, I don't know that it has the support of the Massachusetts State Cemetery folks. It has support from a lot of people who are advocates of greener burials. But it remains to be seen whether it's actually going to get approved.
Sounds like the time period that it takes to accomplish this might be a fly in the ointment.
Possibly, you mean the 30 to 45 days before the end result? That's possible, and the whole reason why it started is because the woman who created it understood that municipal cemeteries are all running out of space. And it was like, wow, this is a way to save space. In fact, you're creating soil. Isn't this fantastic? So it's a great idea. And right now, the way the bill is also defined is if the cemetery that produced this compost, they may have to be the cemetery that keeps the compost. And therefore, it is still being defined as human remains. And so it may have to stay within a cemetery. So that's.
What happens to the bones?
Big fly in the ointment, as they say.
I think they go also.
Supposedly, like within this time period, everything will disappear. That's what I read. And then I saw, but you might have something like your femur might exist, right? The bigger bones.
Because those
So,
are big bones.
just like it goes, flame cremation and the alkaline hydrolysis goes through some type of processing machine to grind you up. That's what happens with this also. So,
It's funny how these topics just sort of
I know.
so there is something, there is like.
make jokes. You know.
Right, exactly.
There is an
Can't
industrial
take it too
Cuisinart
serious.
that takes care of it.
Real Cuisinart.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, well, good. Well, I suggest we support whatever the world supports. Yeah.
But it sounds like you want to do another go around on this, and so
Well,
which
I don't necessarily need to do another go around.
Okay.
Although.
One section.
want to add that one
Okay,
section.
okay, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's
I
too
think
bad.
we should-
Might I suggest that now that we have the new website up, we can post documents to it? And I would suggest we post this as the proposed regulations, so that when we meet next month, the public's had a chance to review them. Just have to send the file to Teresa and she can post it right to the cemetery portion of the website and the news item.
Okay. And I'm not calling these regulations because they're not,
Policies, whatever we're calling them.
okay, yep.
Okay.
Actually, you can send them to me because I'll post them.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering who, which Teresa were we talking about?
Yeah,
And I think we're all done with.
Post things to the website?
I do.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Thank you. We really.
All right. Oh, you're welcome.
Pretty soon we won't have to do this.
Thank you.
You don't have a grinder at home we can borrow, do you?
Maybe they should limit it to people that have osteoporosis.
Well, if it has a crematory, it already has that type of equipment.
Oh, okay.
TMI.
Exactly.
Plant flowers and you're using the compost. you know,
Right, if you want to be a
planting them
tree,
in
there-
We can declare the post office cemetery and get Laurel Hill involved. What do you think? All those nice flowers there.
Okay, wow.
As we
On
digress.
to the next thing.
Okay, so I will update for a cremation definition. And then, let's see, so following up, we have transplanting of thyme and signs for the cemetery, including an offer from Naumkeag. Well, we did do a little transplanting.
We did. We haven't checked to see how it's doing. have
I
we?
did check and I could not tell how it was doing. So we only did like 4 sample plots. What were you going to say?
No, this is in all seriousness. There was an article in the paper last week, one of the papers, I think it was I think it was the Globe or the Post, I can find it, on how you can now buy plugs of, many people are making grass out of natural strawberry, which is a native plant, and it doesn't need to be mowed, and it has similar ground cover to grass. So if the time isn't taken certain spots, we could think about also, and the other advantage of the strawberry is that little critters like the tiny berries it gets. And so I thought that you can actually buy plugs that come like carpet wrap, and you literally spread them out, and you just have to kind of kill the grass, and then you put down these plugs, and you can, because that stuff spreads so fast. They're sunset runners, and I thought that was cool too, along the same lines of the time.
I have that in my backyard.
Yeah?
Yeah,
You never have to mow it, it stays low.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yes,
You
so
actually have it in your list.
natural, the natural occurring strawberry is, I've got it in my yard as well. And under perennials here, I did talk about something called barren strawberry, and it's a little more of an ornamental plant than the strawberry that goes running through my yard. So it stays slightly more upright, so it's more appropriate as something in front of your headstone rather than something that one would step on. But they're very similar looking.
Yeah.
And they do the same function. They give flowers and little berries that things can eat.
Yeah.
I like that idea. It's a really nice idea.
Which is why I say here, under the policies that, with permission, people can plant something else, but they need to speak to us about it.
Yeah, I
I
think,
was even thinking for the old section, if the time is having a problem spreading, it
Yeah.
might be an alternative because they specifically sell it in rolls, and you can lay it out, so you might be able to do it quicker.
yeah. I'm
That's the
also,
thought.
I'm also thinking that's the kind of thing maybe we could get Green Acres to do. Not this year, but next, I could earlier and get them set up, and it doesn't cost that much to get them to
No,
do
and-
stuff. And it's a good work anyway for them. So
I think anything that keeps,
in spring.
because I think that, it's great that the highway department is so now cognizant of equipment in the area, but over the course of 100 years, you just never know if an operator is always going to, not make a mistake. And so the more we can kind of set it up permanently so that we can keep people out, I think, not people out, but keep, the need for maintenance out.
Yep.
I think in the long term, that's going to be, their job protecting the stones. Yeah.
And it saves money.
Yeah, that too.
It's nice stuff too. So yeah, let's do that and let's get some of that going in the spring. I think that's
Yeah.
a great idea. Me too. All right.
The thyme is so pretty right now.
Oh, it is. I've got a bunch all over my yard. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so the stuff that we transplanted, our timing kind of stunk.
Yeah, I did.
In the middle of the really hot.
Yes, but there was no
that
rain.
week.
Hot-
Yeah,
right.
no rain.
1 week in which we had no rain.
Yeah, right.
So,
Everything it's a green summer for sure.
yeah, yeah. And so signs for the cemetery. I did reach out and left a message for
Brian?
Naumkeag, yeah. But I didn't hear back, so I will follow up on that again. But it sounds like they want to put up parking, they want the no parking signs.
Yeah.
At the back of their
Yeah,
property there.
you know, the area where I think it's only in the spring that they park on their stretch of land that faces that meadow. And it's on the other side is us, is the cemetery. So they've been putting up signs so people don't park on the cemetery side, they only park, you know. And he was saying he'd like to put up something more permanent and that's good looking. And I said, well, we're doing signs now anyway, so it makes sense to put them all together, to make them all the same, you know, size and shape. So that was as far as we got on the phone conversation. And this is a busy time for them, I think.
And this is just because they feel like they need the parking for their own uses.
They need the parking in April because they do the daffodil thing,
Right.
daffodil, and that's the one they do during the day. Everything else, the pumpkin show and the Christmas thing, it's always done at night, like from 4 to 8.
Right.
And he's been doing shuttles
Yeah.
from here, so that's been working out really well.
But they don't do shuttles for the
No, because I think it's,
Daffodils.
yeah, because it's during the day, you know, and it's the sort of less,
tulips.
yeah. And that does run about a month, so.
And they're selling the bulbs, so, you know, it's like,
Yeah, right, so, and it is their land. It's weird because it's their land, but it's our road. So if we wanted to get really all shirty with each other, we could, you know, be all kinds of.
So that road that goes in.
That's ours.
Pines is.
No, the road with the
town?
pines is Naumkeag.
Yeah.
But the thing that extends back into the
Oh,
cemetery,
past that where it turns.
that's ours,
Right.
yeah. So Naumkeag has been, and actually, we're supposed to clear all of that road, which we sort of discovered in the course of figuring out who owned what. So Naumkeag has been clearing that road for a long time, and it's actually really ours. We said we would clear it. But once we got that piece of land, I think it was in the 1940s, that's when we said we're going to do a road through, and that's our road. So, but it's their land on that side. So we're trying to work out something.
Did we
where
buy that from the Choates?
That's a good question. I think we might have actually, because I think they owned it all the way, pretty much all the way down. So,
Interesting.
okay.
So
So,
I will follow up with Naumkeag, and maybe it's just sharing what we hope our sign will look like.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, because and he said he would put in money toward it as well. So maybe we get all the signs made at the same time and they pay for their parts and we pay for ours.
And as a cemetery, we do have to have the select board approve our sign.
That's right.
So I just want to
Yeah.
put that out there.
Yeah, okay.
So I guess, Patrick, I guess that's a question for you.
the planning board did permanent signs and the select board did temporary ones.
No,
It's
Public way.
because this is the cemetery. It's
Oh, it's
a,
public land.
does the select board need to approve the sign? So do I need to come and give a mock-up, show the sign before we actually have it done?
And nobody's kind of, I can't imagine anybody will, I can't speak for
Well, I
everyone else,
know.
but I certainly won't have a problem with whatever the commission proposes. But what you should do is just, when you need it on the agenda, just contact Michael Canales and say, because he works with Chuck on the agenda now.
okay.
So
Yes, so.
I think you should actually do it,
So, okay, so that's another action.
yeah,
For me
the
then,
next meeting's the first meeting in August.
okay,
So the planning board doesn't do those? The-
not for the cemetery.
Not for the cemetery?
But
For
it's
anything for the town?
Public way.
Yes.
If within a public way, and that is a public way.
The planning board also has to approve permanent signs. You might just contact Kate Fletcher too. and say-
I've already done.
Already
that.
done
So,
that.
Yeah, I know this for a fact now.
Yeah, and I called our attorney and showed the part that said, this is the public way, it's not the planning board, and
Okay.
he approved it, so. Are you happy with who you've chosen to make the signs?
Well, I want to reach back out to the original people who said they were too busy to make it.
And just so that I'm not suggesting that we do something different, but because it's a public way sign, are we limited to the sign dimensions in the sign bylaw? Or does the municipality have more flexibility? And do we want more flexibility?
I'm not even
I
sure we
think
need,
these signs were greater than the
no.
2 square 4 square feet, 2 square feet, whatever it is.
I think we
Yeah,
were
it's just 2 by 2 is, I get it, but
They're not going to be that big.
Right, it's not that big.
is that okay with you? That's my question, really.
It is with me, it's preferable. I'd prefer it not to look like a street sign.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I think we're fine.
Nothing neon?
No, nothing neon. No. Okay, so, 1st of August. First week, what night, Thursday nights?
The first, second and fourth Thursday in August. We have a meeting this Thursday, but it's the only thing on the agenda is the seasonal resident meeting.
Okay, right, okay. All right, I might be able to do the 4th, but not the 2nd, but we'll see.
That's fine.
Okay,
Also, I believe my recollection could be wrong, it could just be for temporary signs, but I believe that we've approved signs just by signing off on them in Michael's office. That hasn't had to be an agenda item, but that might just be for temporary ones.
okay. Okay,
Seems like it would be safer to just bring them before.
Yeah, okay.
It'll take 5 minutes if that,
Right.
and then we're set, so.
right,
Do a show and tell. And
Exactly. Here they are.
Yeah.
right.
if you'd like someone to come and hold it for you,
Thank you, Pat.
just let me know if you'd like me to do that.
Okay. Utilities and water at the garage. Yu's not here, obviously, and I don't know if we're holding him up or whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah, I don't know if he's so busy right now that it
Right.
doesn't, yeah.
Okay,
So we'll have to put that on hold.
yep,
Just the lawn mowing alone in the summer.
I know,
Oh, my God.
I know.
yes.
Must be amazing.
Yes. Okay, stone cleaning and other work at the cemetery.
I actually just had an email from.
Great.
Not Ian, Bill.
Bill.
And I told him about the CPC grant agreement that I just put into the treasurer's office. And so we're all set to go for the Sergeant Tombs. And I wanted to let them know that. He said they're looking at their schedule now. It's been a very, very busy period for them, but they are looking at their schedule. I think we're probably talking August, maybe later August, going into September and October for.
And so that's for volunteers helping to clean stones, or is that for the sergeant?
It's both. It's everything.
both,
Yeah.
okay.
They're also going to be bringing in a company to work on 5 different stones to bring them back up into space. And there's also supposed to be the training of the highway department. So
Right, okay, there's a lot happening.
there's a lot happening. So they're looking at their schedule now is what it comes down to.
Okay,
I really enjoyed the presentation at the library.
It was very good. I think they should do something in February after we've done more work and we talk about
That's a
what's
good
coming
idea.
up. And they could talk about the sergeant tombs at that point as well. So, and Wendy's already said that would be great, so.
perfect. Okay, the Sedgwick Family Cemetery work. So as some of you may know, Karen spoke to Arthur last month or 2 months ago.
Yeah, about 2 months ago.
And I met with Arthur out on the Sedgwick Pie area. And he just, wants to make sure that we're all on the same page with them doing some type of, well, 2 things, cleaning the stones and fixing some of their stones, as well as doing a design for just north of the Sedgwick Pie area, because their pie is done in family sections and they're running out of space for some of the next generations. So they want to create a design idea for more space directly to the north.
And they're doing that, or they're looking for us to do it?
They are doing that. Arthur's heading it up so that it can be
Is that within
completed.
their,
They own that land.
They own the property that goes from the north of the Sedgwick Pie all the way to the road.
Be good to have that marked out at some point, so we see how
Yeah.
much space we
Yeah.
have left as opposed, I don't know how big that space is. I have no sense of how
Yeah.
large it is, so it'd be,
are they, not to say that they wouldn't, but I'm hoping that any further stones in that area will be similar to and consistent with the look and feel of the existing pie.
Well, one of the things Arthur asked for was some ideas for designers and people, master planners, as well as some people who do stone cleaning. And he is aware of the people that we have working with us. And he knows of another company that does stone cleaning, and I didn't know of others. I wasn't able to get names for others.
Why don't you just explain, I obviously know who you're talking about, but since people are going to be watching the tape, when you say Arthur.
Arthur Schwartz.
Yeah,
Arthur Schwartz is from the Sedgwick family, and he's the chair of the Sedgwick Cemetery Family Trust. And he's professionally, he was an architect. And so, I like that. He thinks in structure and planning ahead for this. So it's excellent to be planning ahead in this way. And what I assured him of is that right now, all of our cemetery lots that we're selling are along the eastern edge of the cemetery. So the area that he's proposing for design is not directly going to impact what we're doing right now as part of the town cemetery.
And I suspect we'll move into that oval section after we get done with where we are now.
Yeah.
Which will be, so we still have quite a while
Right.
before we move into that area.
Is the Sedgwick plot, are there markers so that we know where the boundary lines?
No, that's what I was saying. I'm looking forward to, as part of this, that they actually mark out what is the area. Because technically speaking, we probably shouldn't be mowing it. I mean, I think we should now, but once they get this going, I think we need, at that point, we need to say, well, they take care of.
They maintain their own.
It's all private. They do all their own. I mean, I think a few years ago, we were doing both. That's what I was told. But that stopped at some point. I don't know when, but.
And there's also some type of water sewer pipe, presumably drain pipe that goes through. It basically cuts from the Sedgwick Pie to their additional space.
The ones that, so it bifurcates what they
Yes.
want to expand into.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so Arthur's aware of that. He pretty much knows where it is, but yes. He also believes the town has that very well located on a plan already.
Okay.
So they will be doing a survey.
And this is not that little single sewer thing that goes to that little one cottage. This is the main one that runs
Right.
for,
Right.
And what does it serve?
I think.
It's a
Main
major,
Street?
no, I don't know. There's a large catch basin-like thing. You can see a concrete structure at the portion, at the most northern edge, northeast corner of where we currently are doing burials. And you can kind of draw a straight line and you can kind of see a little bit of a dip. So you can tell where the pipe is.
And it serves a Main Street and probably, I think.
Probably Prospect.
And Prospect as well, yes,
Yeah.
and probably does. So it's an important one. And
Yeah.
so it's not going anywhere. The other little one, I hope we won't get rid of, but that one's not
Sewer
going.
line.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, I think
So he's-
Arthur
he's
is all
all
set
set, yeah,
right now.
that's good.
I gave him a list of names and thoughts and ideas, and he's checking them all out. And they hope to issue an RFP in the fall at the earliest.
So are they having a survey done or is it?
I think that will be part of the RFP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And would we
Yeah,
ask that we can get a copy of that survey?
It's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would help to know that.
We'd just have it be part of our records
Yeah,
too, would be
right.
important.
Yep. What else would we have here?
Email addresses?
Oh, so I'll speak for myself. I had a bumpy start covering for Karen while she was out. Because I never accessed my town email address. I guess maybe I knew and then I forgot that I had a town email address.
I keep forgetting.
You too have one, Pat, yeah.
everybody can have them forwarded to their personal email. You just have to put the request in.
Yeah.
You literally, it just forwards every single email to wherever you want it to be forwarded,
And to whom do we make that request?
to Teresa or Michael.
Okay.
And we have an IT guy, a guy named John.
Okay.
Who manages all this stuff and it's 2 seconds of work. it's, if you need to respond, at least you'll know then that you have it. Obviously, you should respond from your town email if possible. I mean, for the seminary commission, it's not that big a deal, but, that way at least you're notified.
At least you know you got
Yeah,
income.
at least you got to, you got it coming in.
Yeah, so thank you, Patrick, for forwarding stuff to me because I wasn't forwarding town email. So now I do check that on a every other day basis, just to, and yeah, and I found it very useful, so thank you. So I encourage you to use it. Yeah,
Is it mostly comments and questions and stuff?
It's mostly questions, right?
Yes.
Questions like, how do I go about? Yeah.
yeah. And if you need a new payroll system, they have one for you.
Once a week, I swear. Spam. It's not good at catching spam.
Right. So that's all I have for new and old business. Is there any other new business to be discussed? No? Okay. Do you want to speak?
I want to say how enjoyable this was. Because, I've lived here for 33 years and it's a pure joy to watch democracy at work, which is what this is. And you all give your time free of charge. And it's not just being at these meetings, but all the research you have to do. Bravo to all of you. It was a joy to watch this. It really was. And I'm trying to do it more so that I can see, we're often, if we come from large cities, we're often so disconnected from the way government works. But here, I get to be in the room with you and I'm actually in my kitchen. So thank you so very much.
If you come in person next time, we'll take you out to breakfast and a coffee.
Patrick is paying.
Right.
I just want to ask one question, only because it was brought up at the very beginning. I speak at Cooper Hewitt you know what that is? It's Smithsonian's Design Museum. And we did something on, it was not the whole exhibit, but we did something on green burials. You buy an eternity suit and you put your loved one in the suit. Do you do something like, and eventually your grandfather becomes mushrooms?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
So that's different. You don't have to turn anybody over.
No, we do that too. We just started to support green burials.
Yes, so in our bylaw that we voted on in May, there used to be a line item that said permanently sealed vaults must be required for all caskets. We struck that line item.
Okay.
So that what that means now is we have a guy who digs graves who is more than happy to put a plain pine box, or even he's even okay with a shrouded body, putting that in the ground. Mm-hmm. So from that standpoint, we're allowing what's called green burial, right?
Yes.
Just the natural body just decomposes and the things around it will just naturally decompose. There's different shades of green burial. Some people who allow green burial say, oh, no, my goodness, you should only bury down no more than 2.5 to 3 feet, because it's the upper soil horizons that have the aerobic activity that help decompose the body. This is more of what Patrick wants to learn about right now. So anyways, we are still doing the conventional, which I think in our cemetery is probably 4 or 5 feet deep.
It's 4 feet.
4 feet deep. So bodies right now in our cemetery will be going 4 feet deep, and they will all be filled up, and eventually lawn will grow over the grave. So that's what the Stockbridge Cemetery is doing.
And so that's the depth to the bottom of the casket?
Yes,
Or the
yeah.
vault or whatever?
Whatever it
Yes,
is, yeah.
yes.
That's the, yeah.
Yeah,
See, I want to be part of the birds and the bees faster.
yes.
So I can,
So, you talked about a mushroom suit. There is something called a mushroom suit, which is basically a shroud that's been infused with mycelium.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, and that will, It's a nice idea.
It's
Originally,
not for me, but it's for many people, and I guess it keeps our soil cleaner, so,
yes,
than a regular funeral with the chemicals that are put in the body, so.
right.
Anyway, it's fascinating.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
and
I'm sorry.
it's up to all of us. Whoever wants a green burial, you have to make sure you talk to your funeral director. The funeral director is the one who's going to be preparing your body in most cases. And so you want to make sure that the funeral director knows you don't want to be embalmed. And
Gotcha.
so the local Department of Health is also involved in all these things. So it's really important to plan ahead for your own demise. Yes.
Thank you.
So I have a question.
Yes.
If your mushroom suit is morels, can you limit the harvesting to your heirs?
No.
Not in a town cemetery.
Your morel mushrooms to your heirs.
Right. No,
Not in
no
the
pick-
town cemetery. Everybody can go in and just take whatever they want. Or the highway department comes and takes all of it and takes it
Right.
home.
Guidos.
Actually, my understanding is with those mycelium shrouds, there's no fruiting bodies that come up. So you can't actually tell there's been a mushroom suit that's been buried.
I did wonder about that because I saw
It
the
doesn't-
image of all these mushrooms
Yeah,
appearing, you know.
It doesn't happen that way, yeah.
Okay.
The idea was that the mycelium will help neutralize the toxins in one's body. But,
Yes.
yeah, and I think the science proved that that did not actually happen. It doesn't do bad things, but it doesn't do what the intention was either.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. You just have to hit the topic I like, yeah.
The research on this
Yeah.
must be very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
In
Yeah,
all seriousness, there's a lot of research in this area right now around how to neutralize PCBs in the floodplain. And we talk about neutralizing toxins. And you bring up a good point, which is that we should sort of, just as that plays out over the next 5 to 10 years, it would be interesting to see if there's any strategies that are naturally occurring microbes that, could help neutralize things. Because I think that's a big issue.
Yeah.
There's so much crap in,
Oh, God.
yeah, it's true,
yeah.
yeah. So thank you for your question.
And thank you for your
Yep.
words of praise. They're very nice.
What is your name?
My last name is Jasper, Jasper, and my first name is Tamara, Tamara.
Tamara, thank you.
Thank you. This was most informative and enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's
And-
probably one of the first times that the cemetery topic has been classed as enjoyable.
I know. We always have a good time, but no one else.
It's a serious topic. We don't mean to make light of it. It's a hard thing to talk about, it's like sort of.
Indeed it is. And we're all going to wind up in a cemetery in the end.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Right.
So and you want, especially since it's a town cemetery, you must do what's right for everybody. So
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
very true.
yep, which is called choice, right?
Right.
Yes,
And we're
Okay.
winding choices.
we are.
Yeah.
So on that
So
note,
adjourn?
Yes.
seconded. All right.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank
bye-bye.
you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
again.